There you go.
How's it look, Bill?
Pretty good.
Okay, center it up nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready to go.
Okay, we're going to start our new outline. Remember, at the bottom, we're going to get ready to do some color work now. We're going to start with our dark colors first, then work to the lighter colors. It's much better that way. Your colors stay brighter, because if you put a dark color on after you put your light colors on, they mesh in together and they distort the coloration. We have our colors already set out, and we're going to start off with our Venetian brown. This is in the Voodoo brand colors. A little bit of Vaseline helps keep the ink concentrated up here again. The end areas for highlighting, deciding on whether you're going to leave a skin color or you put a lighter shade of brown or possibly even a white highlighting. We're going to rinse out. We've been rinsing out in an ultrasonic cleaner with water in a cup. This cleans out the color, so you don't get what they call a flushback in tattooing, which will be a mixture of a brown and your next color, which would give you a distorted looking color into the skin. As you see, we're not picking up anything. Make sure that you do shake your bottles before you open them and pour them into the cap, because they do separate just a little bit, and that little bit could make a difference in the consistency that you're going to put into the skin. Again, we're going to start at the bottom of the design. We're going to work our green right on up. Remember, small circular motion. Small spaces. Small circular motion. This type of work here is a little tougher to do sometimes if you've got the wrong type of machine set up as far as a shader or a liner. This is being done with a 7-needle outliner and a 4-needle flat shader. Again, because the 4-needle flat shader does allow you to put a lot of ink in, but still get inside the tight areas. Sometimes with a bigger needle, you can't get inside and get things nice and tight. See how tight you can get in with that 4-needle shader, but it still packs the color. So you're starting to get a buildup on the tip. You got to clean this off, because if you don't, it's not going to feed right again. Make sure you rinse out real well, because again, we don't want to get a flush back in a color and end up with a dirty color. By rinsing in the cup in the ultrasonic cleaner, it's sending sonic waves through the water, which is helping break down the excess ink in the tube to clean them. Also, you did see me do this many times after the rinse, and not only did I do that for the reasoning of the color, but you also don't want water laying back up in your tube, because that will thin your ink and you won't get true color. Nice and easy with that orange. I think you can shade it out, because you're actually going to come in there and you're going to work some nice bright yellow into it. Rinse it down and get a look-see. If we have to go back and touch anything. Coming down to the end. Got the yellow to go. Be sure not to overwork the yellow. Yellow's a funny color. It looks like it's not in, but believe me, if you work it twice and you work it thorough, it's in. Guys make very big mistakes. They overwork yellow, and by overworking it, you actually do more damage than good. Right along the edge of the green. Very, very little circles. Let's pull that yellow right into the green. That's the big advantage of working a 4-needle shader. You can get right into those tight spots. Now I'm starting to get dirty color. I'm starting to get what they call that flush back I've been telling you about. It's more apt to show up with yellow because it's being such a light color. So now this is the case of having to rinse out again and then start again with the yellow. In this particular case, I'm not only going to rinse out, I'm actually going to stop and I'm going to refill. Over here I'm going to fill up a new cap full of yellow because I'm going to take this and show you. If you look at the yellow on the surface, there's distortion in the color. That means you're going to end up with muddy color again. The extra time is worth it to build a good reputation. People will respect you and will come back to you for that, believe me. So you're going to take the bandage off in about an hour, wash it off with cold water and soap, make sure you use your hands on it, pat it dry, put a very light coat of bacitration on it, cover it up in regular plastic saran wrap, change it twice a day for 3 days, no longer than 3 days. Do not over-apply the bacitration. If you do, you'll make it mucky and gooey.
Very good.
Okay?
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Oh, hi, Jim. I got your scorpion design done for you. I did a hand-cut stencil for you, so we should be able to get that to fit on there quite well. What I probably need you to do first is kind of open up your shirt there, and we'll just kind of set it up here so we can get a look-see at it, how it's going to fit you. And let's place it in there. Let's tip it a little bit more. And that's perfect.
Looks good.
We've got a winner right there. Right now I'm going to place some stencil powder on here and I'm going to rub it off, and then I'm going to tap off the excess. And after doing a setup with the machines and prepping Jim's skin, I'm going to apply some Vaseline to the skin area, which will make the stencil powder stick to the skin, and that's what I'll be tattooing from. These stencils that you make for people are single use. They're not made to reuse. And as you see, the black stencil powder is actually going into the little cracks that I etched into the plastic with the stencil cutter. You want to make sure to dab off the excess powder so you don't make a mess on the skin. And as now, Our acetate stencil is prepared to use. If you look, the black is all in the cracks. Okay, Jim, we're going to get you ready to do your cover up now. I'm going to clean your skin down. Let me grab some Vaseline here. We're going to prep the skin with this because this is going to hold the black stencil powder that I put onto the stencil earlier. You want to be very careful how much you put on. You want to make the skin a little tacky. Okay, Jim, take your hands out of your pockets, please. Very important part of when you do any type of tattooing like this, arm work, make sure that you get your customer to stand up. Because if he's laying down, when you apply a stencil of any kind, it will be in a different position when he stands. This is back to where I had talked earlier about positioning. It makes it easy to position with an acetate stencil. Put it on, press it, catch it from the corner. Now you're prepared to do your tattoo work. Make sure you keep that skin tight at all times. If you notice, I am going back and forth on each side, trying to bring the sides up semi-equally so I'm not coming in contact with any of the stencil as I'm working. I'm going to wash it down. We'll get a look-see. If there's any touch-up work that needs to be done, we'll do it at this time. If you'll notice in this design as I'm working, the design is getting smaller as I'm coming down, and I'm tapering down with the amount of shadow work I'm using from up above to a little less, to a little less, to just a little, to very little. It enables me to work the design much easier and still acquire a nice look. Again, we are working with a 4-needle flat shader and a 7-needle round liner. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of split the body just a little bit because I don't want to take this and actually just take it and draw a bunch of black in there. So what I'm actually going to do is like a shadow line here, kind of a shadow line like this to take out that name and give the scorpion a little bit of shape.